I want to share with you the road that Fring has gone from 2006 to date and where it's going, or where it's heading, or where maybe it's heading. You know, I'll be very careful to say I know what's going to happen tomorrow morning, let alone in 2 days from now, right? Right. So we created as a mobile IM to a telecom, from a pure consumer play to a business enabler. So that's kind of the pivot that we've done some time ago. So if you want to kind of summarize Fring in 4 pictures, this was 2006, right? This is kind of an N95 Nokia top-of-the-line device at that time, right? Remember that? Damn machine. I loved it. I wasn't part of the company then, but still, it's a great machine. Then, somewhere here, I joined the company, and we pivoted the company from a pure consumer play, which, by the way, today we have about 60 million subscribers worldwide, right? Still have a strong consumer brand, into a telecom enabler. So that's our first customer, actually. That's a Bouygues Telecom. And actually, we became, at that part, we became an OTT enabler for service providers on the cloud. Everything runs on AWS, on Amazon. We don't have any servers. And that was actually a catalyst for Jamban to acquire Fring September 2013. What was part of the catalyst, I should say. And today, this is one of our latest customers. This is Airtel in India. So their entire expat entire offering as Airtel Talk is actually utilizing or over our solution on the cloud. So that's kind of a short summary. The other way. Now, what we're hearing in the last couple of years is kind of 2 magic words: democratization and asymmetrical models, which I think encapsulating a lot of what we're trying to achieve. The first thing is democratization. It means that me as the user, I have the power to the people, right? I can do whatever I want. It's my number, it's my device, I own it, I will do with it whatever I want. Yes, you have the billing relationship, but I can move. At the same time, carriers and enterprises and service providers can do the same thing because they can switch as well. They can go and do online, they can use us, they can use others. So actually, it's a much more aggressive environment, as you pointed out. And if we, as an industry, will not start to adapt to that, some of the Goliath in the room might perish, maybe. So it's a much more aggressive, volatile environment. Now, at the same time, we see more and more asymmetrical models, which is a code name that I give you something for free, and you will use it for free, and then on the corner, I will charge you from advertising, data harvesting, other stuff. Users say, I'm willing to get stuff for free and pay in other ways. And we see more and more models like that, right? Other way. And we're tapping into new technologies. And there's a lot of buzzwords out there, right? WebRTC, cloud, PaaS, CaaS, wearable, IoT. And by the way, I don't have an engineering degree. I don't understand half of those things. I have a BA in political science and an MBA, but right. What I do know that all those very fancy words are enabling new user experiences. Because I'm coming from the user experience. I'm coming from what it can do for me as a user, as a business. And what we're doing, we're enabling new experiences for businesses via the service providers. The service providers by themselves, they're a black box. No one cares. I don't care. You don't care. The customer doesn't care. Just what it does for him. So it's one me. By the way, that's me. Great picture, right? No, unfortunately, it's not me, but thank you, thank you. Just a bit looks like me, right? All right, so it's one me, right? Everything is me. It's my identity. It's my persona. It's my alter ego. It's me. Same thing as my address book on the device encapsulate my entire social life. And if you're not in my address book, you don't exist as far as I'm concerned. And all those things represent that. And I want to be able to switch between all those things seamlessly. No network, no device, no nothing. I don't care. Guys, I simply don't give a diddly squat. It should work. Black magic. I don't care how it does, how you do it. Now, at the same time, on the other side, me as a service providers, I don't want to buy from you, the service providers. I don't want to buy from you huge machines, huge boxes, pay $1 million for pizza service and all kind of stuff. I don't want to buy solutions. I want to buy the bits and pieces, the Lego blocks that will drive my business, that serve my business need. And again, I really resonate with what you said. So actually, our entire business is changing, at least the way that we perceive it. We don't no longer come and say, here you go, that's yours. And we're no longer coming to the user and say, you must use this. It's a much more democratized environment in that sense. There is a strategy, or there is a strategy. Actually, we see a lot of strategies, both from service providers and from carriers and from enterprises and from online carriers, if you like us. We've seen one very clear, consistent, coherent strategy, which makes, I think, a lot of sense. There are probably others. Who will win? I have no idea. But I think there is a clear understanding that there's need to be a strategy. Will RCS succeed? I don't know. I think it will, but it's only my personal opinion. What I do know is that it needs to serve 4 needs. It needs to be agile, because the user, which is me, by the way, remember, the non-geek, probably the only non-geek in the room, right? Wants it fast. I want it now, I want it today, and I want it for free, and don't tell me it takes 3 months to develop an API, because I don't care. It's work within the existing framework. If your business runs in a certain path, for me to come along and to say, shift, delete, here's the new process, is not legitimate. It's unacceptable. Move on. Bring me something I can actually integrate into my existing business process, because that's my business. On demand, creation, not just delivery, creation. And we want to work on a shared risk reward. I'm willing to bet my business on you if you share the risk with me. I'm willing to bet my business if we share the reward together. So these are more and more predominant paradigms that we see in the market. Both, by the way, both from service carriers and enterprises. So the objective is to bring telecom OTT experiences to the cloud, service them via APIs in a risk-reward model, right? So if I look at Genban, which is ex-Nortel, hardcore telco guys, you know, the GSMA type of... and we're coming and saying, guys, you need to change the way you perceive the market. In that kind of way, some of them look at you like you're from Marsh. Others say, oh yeah, bring it on. So it really depends on the person, right? So this is Candy. Candy is Fring. But this is Candy as a strategy for a provider that understands that it needs to adapt. So it's not only the service providers that needs to adapt in order not to remain the Goliath that will die, but also the providers, the Genbans of the world that understand they need to change. If they won't change, no one will buy from them a pizza server in 3 years' time because they can get the same or even better on Amazon. And they pay only for the traffic. So it's actually very interesting. And what we're doing actually, our team, Fring that was acquired by Genban, and we're helping the company, being the kind of the tip of the spear, if you like, the edge of the sword, to take Genban's core telecom assets, the WebRTC gateways, the Class 5, all those weird words, bring them up to the cloud, whether it's Amazon or whatever, and break them down into APIs that then we can service back into the market. And being very practical, because we actually have real customers and real users and we need to service them today, we are settling on 5 domains, just now. And what will succeed, what will die, I have no idea. I just know what my customers tell me right now, which is IP to IP calls, IP to IP messaging, break in, break out, collaboration, and any other stuff. Voicemail. Now, I was shocked when we got a request for voicemail by a carrier. By the way, there are the Converse guys here, right? It's still a valid business. So it exists. It doesn't go away. But I was shocked that it came from an enterprise with a very online attitude. And they explained to me that actually what they're looking for is a visual voicemail. So not the old voicemail, but something new that actually drive the user experience. So that fits into that. Codename simplicity. And I think, again, in the previous discussion, it was also mentioned, when we're offering something to the market and we understand it's a democratized market and the competition is not just yet another technology, but it's the user experience, simplicity is part of the game. So we need to provide it with REST APIs and SDKs and quick starts and samples and whatever, to the point that the Fring UI, the one that you saw before, is royalty-free. Take it, plaster your brand over it, change the color, and you can use it over our platform. Why? Because that makes your life any easier, and that makes our core competency in the telecom space, not in the professional services, UI customization field, which we don't care. So in that essence, our ability to drive simplicity means that we can, and we do, deliver new services in weeks, not in months. And that's, I think, is one of the requirements for the market, which we're trying to drive. So 3 things to remember, if you like. 1, asymmetrical models. 2, new technologies, but basically just enablers. And 3, there is a place from us, from others, from service providers to drive the API as a way that changes fundamentally the way that the industry behaves. Because my car, with my identity, is part of me. It's part of my alter ego. And if I go to my car and it actually now can receive calls and text and video session, and it doesn't understand my address book, that's bullshit. It doesn't exist. It's unacceptable for me as a consumer. As a service provider, it means that I need to provide the APIs that will do that. But again, it's a black box. And if it runs on Amazon or OpenStack or Helium, that's just a necessity. That's just a tool. That's not the center of gravity. So we're coming from the user experience part, not from the technology part. Questions?
Thank you so much, Roy. So we have time for just one quick question, as time is
fun when you're having fun.
It certainly is. If not, then that enables us to catch up a little.
Dim?
Just got one, Dean. Yeah, just
hey, Dim.
This one video recording it.
Are you forced to use the normal address book and phone number, or can you create your own ID space and a completely new contact list?
Well, what we do is we use both. For service providers and for consumers, my mobile number is me, is my identity. Basically, I know my number. So my mobile number is how I represent myself to the world. So I can use that. Some service providers and some users actually prefer email, because that's their identity. So we're not forced to that, but right now I would say it's 95% requirement towards address book, and the rest is email and other stuff, other provisioning.
Cool. So with that, thanks so much, Roy. That was excellent.